going into the Little Palm Family Theater right now to be a part of the Brooklyn Cafe morning show. Super excited. We'll let you see behind the scenes when it's ready.
And we are back at the Brooklyn Cafe show. We are here with Veronica Green, who we've never met, but I've been following Veronica and her superhero stories and her children's books. Veronica was introduced to us through Jeannie from the Children's Garden in Delray Beach. And tell us about Veggie Vero.
So Veggie, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Veggie Vero is my little vegan superhero that I created as a way to promote plant-based living for children and empower little vegans to talk about their lifestyle and be proud of it and share the light, spread the word.
You have, what, 6 books?
So I have 4 Veggie Vero books. It's a series of 4. I'm actually working on the 5th one now. And in each story, she rescues a different animal and she goes on a different adventure and teaches about compassion towards that specific animal. And then I also have 2 kind of side projects that I did, which are separate from Veggie Vero, but they're also very powerful messages. One is about recycling and reducing our use of plastics. And the other one is called Little Yogi Journey, and it's just like a rhyming book that takes kids through a very easy yoga flow. And it's just a mindfulness and meditative type of thing.
Which was the first Veggie Vero? I'm looking at this Little Yoga Journey book. Mindful Flow. Wow, look at that. Touch your toes, reach up to the sky. This is so cute. Take a seat in your invisible chair. Freddy, I think this is a great way for you to start yoga. Let's pretend we're ready to run. Now back. Wow, amazing. Back your knee down and touch the sun. Now it's time to be a frog. Pretend you're napping on a log. This is so unbelievably cute.
So it makes it really just easy for kids to follow along and fun because it's a poem, because it rhymes. I have parents reach out to me all the time on social media and we were doing your book for this morning or before bed last night. Like, it's just such a fun thing to do with your child.
Oh my gosh, I would love, and I'm not even a teacher anymore, but back in the day, to incorporate this in the schools for their meditation time. Because they can do this anywhere. They can just stand up at the side of their desk and do this.
Absolutely. And a lot of schools are now incorporating yoga or meditative things into their morning practices because it is so healthy for kids.
Tell me about your first book.
So my very first book was The Adventures of Veggie Vero and the Sandwich Imposter, it's called. So this was book number 1. When I first wrote this, I kind of didn't really know what I was doing. Like, I had never written a book, first of all, and I was very newly vegan myself. I was pescatarian. I was eating fish and dairy still, but I had cut like red meat out of my diet. So I thought, I just had it all figured out. I was like, oh my goodness, I was on this health kick. And I said, you know what? I'm going to create a book about a superhero that rescues the animals and teaches kids about eating their vegetables.
How'd you even come up with the idea, though, to do this? Were you an author before?
I've been writing since I was a little girl. I've been writing short stories and poems since I was probably 8 years old. But, this is my first time trying to, do it professionally. So anyways, I wanted to write this story about, to kind of get kids to eat their veggies type of thing. But as I started to do research online and really dive into, like, nutrition for children and things like that, I started to stumble across all of these vegan things and what these animals really go through and the horror of the dairy industry and just all of these things I didn't know. And I'm like, oh, my God, I don't even want to. I want to become vegan now, and I think I want Veggie Vero to be vegan too. So the whole idea of Veggie Vero transformed from just getting your kids to eat their veggies to now into actually a plant-based vegan superhero who teaches kids compassion and really spreads the word about veganism. So Veggie Vero became vegan along with me.
So let me ask. So every of the books are all about being vegan and saving the planet?
It's about rescuing the animals and teaching kids about plant-based alternatives to the foods they are already enjoying. So, like, for example, in the first book, the pigs in the story are they smell ham sandwiches. And nobody would eat a ham sandwich in Kalesville, right? Look at how upset they are. And so they
especially the pig.
Yeah. They're like, come on, who's eating my cousin in the sandwich? So they go on this adventure, and they find this little boy who's reading, and he's eating his sandwich under the tree. And she's like, I heard that there was an imposter in Kaysville eating ham sandwiches. And the boy's like, I'm not an imposter. I'm just a traveler, hungry traveler passing through town. So we're not trying to like demonize the person that's eating meat.
Right.
It's about educating them. So Veggie Vero takes the little boy to the sanctuary, and he gets to meet her animal friends, and she teaches him all about how smart pigs are, how loving and gentle they are. And then she gives him a veggie sandwich instead and says, here, try this. And this is the best thing I ever tasted. I guess I don't have to eat ham sandwiches anymore. Like, so it's very sweet.
You know, this reminds me of the book of Stone Soup, which I know you've never read the book.
No. But
I know that book.
But I ate
Yes.
stone soup.
But it's,
I was stoned and I ate it.
Well, this one talks about chicken soup and how it became vegetable soup.
Yeah.
It's not the soup, it's the education of what's in it, right? It's about bringing the community together and educating people.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because when I decided to try, we used to do a segment called Just a Little Vegan, which means be vegan for one day, hopefully turn to 2, turn to 3, and yada, yada, yada. So I used to bring home vegan things, and people used to laugh at me. They used to say, because it was raw vegan. Now there's raw vegan,
Yeah.
there's cooked vegan.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the cooked vegan thing now, but it's not only about the animals, because that's the next thing they're throwing at me. Because I wasn't talking about animal skins. I'm not talking about that. I'm a diabetic. On her birthday 4 years ago, unfortunately, I had a very bad incident. I shouldn't even be here right now, okay? Because they said, Freddy, you're checked out, you're done. I'm not done yet. This has changed the game. What was the name of the movie I saw?
Game Changers.
I was going to bring that up. Everybody should watch Game Changers on Netflix. If you haven't already, whether or not you eat meat, watch Game Changers. It's
Although
all
I
about the
have heard-
health aspect.
I have heard that some of that has some questionable
Yes, everything
things
has
to
questionable.
it. When you if you ever spin down blood, if you ever seen a centrifuge and you spun down the blood, it's never separated. It always spins together. You never see it look like oil and vinegar. So I'm not questioning it. I haven't seen it. I'm just saying this is what I've been told.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't care how you spin it. I don't care if you spit it or not spin it. I've been a diabetic here in Florida for 4
It has
years.
changed your life. There is no doubt.
Not only changed my life, inflammation in my body. This is where we're going. Because if I had done this 4 years ago, maybe I would get the feel back in my feet. Maybe my hands wouldn't hurt no more like they don't. Maybe yesterday watching the Super Bowl, I was like, oh my God, where's my hot dog? And I still have vegan hot dog and hamburger and all these beautiful dishes that are vegan, plant-based. Let's say plant-based.
Yeah.
And my God, I feel fantastic. So I don't care who spins what. I don't care who defines this. I've been chasing this lack of pain for years. And I've come times that I've come into studio, I didn't want to do the show. I was hurting. Okay, so the book for children is the missing ingredient right now because you're going to get them young.
There's not a lot of literature for
None.
kids about where their food is coming from. See, that's the other aspect of it. Like, a lot of people say, oh, well, you're forcing kids to be vegan. It's not right to force your kid to be vegan. But if you look at it from the opposite perspective, if you're eating meat and you're feeding meat to your child, you're forcing your kid to eat something that they don't have any idea what it took to get to their plate. Maybe if they knew the whole story, they wouldn't want to eat it. So I think presenting veganism to kids is giving them that option to make the choice, to make an educated choice. I know parents who have said, you know what, I'm not fully vegan, but when I told my kids, this chicken that you're eating is like the chickens that we saw at when we visited such and such farm, that's what this is. When they understood and made that connection, they said, Mommy, I don't want to eat it. I love the chicken. I hugged the chicken. The chicken gave me kisses. I don't want to eat it, and I'm going to respect that choice. And now I'm looking into plant-based, protein for my kid and stuff like that, and do it as a family.
I'm going to tell you, in this book, we are going to put a coupon or a recipe inside of this for your kids.
There's a recipe, yeah. At the end of each book, there's a recipe.
This chick knows what she's talking about. I'm going to tell you got to get them young. You got to get them started.
Let's go to commercial break. When we come back, let's go through
She's
the
amazed.
books of Veggie Vero. The books are amazing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Unbelievable. How long have you been doing this?
So since about 2016 is when I started.
What?
You put something
Chia
with what?
seeds.
And you work
Chia
at
seeds,
the,
bro.
Huh?
at the
No,
garden.
Chia seeds.
Yeah,
No, no, no,
part-time.
you
What
put
do you do for the rest of the time?
I
You put half a spoon
write
of powder.
and I
Why don't you take
always
water?
try to.
Yeah.
These books
Don't
are
make it too
incredible.
cold because you don't
Yeah.
drink this.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddy S.
And we're back. I'm a walking book. You write books for kids, and I applaud that because you're getting to them young. I wish this was started back in the day when me and DJ were around. I wish this was around to educate, because all BS aside, I got to apologize. Because I remember 4.5 years when you came on, you told me change your diet, I laughed at you. I said, yeah, don't worry about it. I got this. And it almost killed me. And thanks to you and the 21 other coaches and people like our author here today, it gives me a chance. It gives me a chance. It doesn't change your life because you can still choose the wrong things, but I got a choice and I got a chance. And I think that that's what your books do. It gives you a chance.
That's exactly what it is. It's about giving them the opportunity to make their own choice.
I'm
if
all
you
in
don't
on
know,
that, yeah.
Look at the very first page on every single one of my Veggie Vero books. All says the same sentence. All change begins with knowledge.
And that's fantastic.
If you don't know, you can't change.
And at the end, you've got recipes. So for 4 years, I've wanted to do a cooking segment. No, I don't cook. So the recipe there that has more than 5 ingredients is a little overwhelming for me. So I'm going to ask you, can we cut down the ingredients to make that lentil loaf? Because the idea of it sounds amazing.
Yeah, it is a little
To find
intimidating.
tamari and tahini and all these things, I'll be like, oh my
When you're
gosh.
ready to do the cooking segment, call me back and we'll do some simple.
But I would
simple
love to do
vegan
that
meals.
and bring you in with our kids network, because
Yes.
not only do I love doing a cooking segment for us as adults and busy people who are always working, but to educate the kids to say, you know what, and that's, I love them, but this one I love, the Battle of the Lunch Ladies. Can you imagine making a mini movie of the Battle of the Lunch Ladies
Yes.
of Eggplant Elementary School?
You're going to play a lunch lady?
The Lunch Lady, yes. Do you remember that skit? Lunch
lady.
Lady, yes.
Always be nice to your lunch lady, because when you're on the line, and Mia tell you, because she's laughing, they give you an extra serving.
But this is
True
about
that?
teaching the lunch lady about being plant-based and trying it. And here's this incredible recipe. The
Right.
Diary of a Plastic Bottle.
This is a powerful book, let me tell you.
I'm looking at the pictures.
It's
what
a
happens when you
strong
drink
message.
the water bottle? We talk about this. And what happens to the plastic bottle over and over again? Recycle. Wow. We have to be more environmentally conscious, because now that we're in a bigger space and we talk about this all the time, we have more people. We're going through 50 water bottles a week.
Yeah.
And that's just criminal. It's just, there's no way around it. It's just killing our environment. And it starts with one.
And you know that water was in that bottle for 2 years before you opened it, so it's full of.
And you're going to use it for 10 minutes, and then it's going to sit in a landfill for over 100 years.
Correct.
It takes over a century to decompose.
And we have a different problem in this country because China is no longer taking our garbage.
Yes.
So what are we
Because
doing
they're
with
all
it?
sick.
You know what we're doing with it?
It's ending up in landfill. So even when you're recycling, it's still ending up in landfill. That's why if you really read this book, it's not so much telling the kids recycle. I mean, yes, recycle if you do end up with plastic, but it's really saying reduce your use of plastic altogether. Walk around with a reusable water bottle. When you go to places, I brought a little show and tell. I didn't know how in depth you wanted to get.
Oh,
but
let's see what you got.
Oh, absolutely. Get out the bag.
But here's the amazing thing. This is what you teach as well, Veronica, is that I can't tell you for 4 years this is what's going on. You have to learn it when you're ready.
You never forced me.
Yeah,
But that's with anybody.
that's true.
It's even with your children. You can't tell them, you can only teach. You can only lead a horse to water, right? We
They
say all the
laugh.
time. You can't make them drink.
That's true, and that's been part of my journey, because when you kind of have this revelation, you just want to shove it down everyone's throat because you feel so passionate about it, but you realize that you can't. People have to accept it in their own time. Everyone's on their own journey.
But I would love to have some options, not choices, because there's a lot of choices, of how to be a little bit more plant-based, how to find those recipes, how to be able to have good food other than lettuce and tomato if you're going to be plant-based with chickpeas. That's my degree of cooking, right?
Right.
A salad with chickpeas, some lentils, and maybe some vegan cheese.
Yeah, but
you
Dawn,
can't eat that
Dawn,
all
every
the
day.
time,
Dude,
right?
there's a whole world
There's a lot. There's
of
there's
stuff.
a
That's
lot
what
of
I'm
people
saying.
think that vegans just exist on salad, and that's so far from true.
So far.
I mean, vegan tacos, wraps, deli sandwiches if you want a sandwich, vegan pizzas, vegan stir fry. The list
Sausage.
goes on and on and on. There's
Vegan
vegan
sausage.
sausage.
But
there's
it's
so
finding
much.
the products, and this is where I get a little wonky on it, without the preservatives, without that frozen
No,
stuff
they
that's going
have
to sit
it.
on the shelf for 10 years.
Time out. They have it. You have to eat it within 3 days.
So
problem
that's the important thing.
The problem is
And
you're going
don't
to have to go
forget,
shopping.
pasta and rice is also vegan.
Yes,
Yum.
that's why you have to be a little
Brown
careful
rice
on
is
that
better for a
also.
diabetic.
What you got in your bag?
Okay, so this is my little show and tell, right? So just little things that is super easy switch that everyone can do to make a difference. I no longer use Ziploc bags. I have these little reusable ones. I use them over and over again. You wash them and just let them dry out. And
And where do
reuse
you
them.
get that? You make it?
Target.
Or Target?
I got this at Target. Yeah, and they make them in the sandwich size. This is the snack size, and they also have bigger ones if you want to freeze things.
Reusable for your kids. What a great way to pack
Yeah.
school lunches.
For me.
So now
Yes.
I'm never buying Ziploc bags, which you're going to use one time, and then they're going to sit in a landfill or end up in our oceans, and a turtle's going to eat it.
You're right.
It's a big deal.
100%
It's a
right.
huge deal. When I go to places to get my on-the-go coffee or whatever, I get, whether it's iced or hot, I always have my reusable cup with me. So I'm no longer, using something once and
Okay,
throwing it
so
away.
so now that you brought that up, we use these. I think these are recyclable, right? They're cardboard.
So paper is a lot better than plastic. Paper, because once it gets wet, it kind of breaks down and it starts to decompose. And then this is the other thing.
She brings her own utensils with her as well.
Yeah.
Bamboo?
Bamboo. I mean, if it's a sit-down place, obviously, and they have their own utensils, I'll use theirs. But if it's a to-go thing and I'm on the run, I'm not going to take any more plastic.
No plastic.
Plasticware.
So you have your own straw.
Right there.
Do they still have the straws that shrink into about this big?
Those would be what do you mean?
You take them, you go, and they shrink the straws, and then you open it.
The metal ones.
Is
Metal
it metal?
ones do that?
Yeah, they have like metal
Oh,
ones you put in your purse.
they're like retractable. Yeah, you know what the thing about those is? I find that they're hard to wash and keep them really sanitary because it has all these extra ridges that you have to clean.
Yeah, we don't
What you got,
wash.
Teddy?
No, I was gonna say yeah, they still have them. They have ones that like come with cleaners in them now.
Yeah.
They can also, I was told, if you boil it, they put it in boiling water and take it right out.
Not if it has a silicone in it. Folding ones usually have silicone in them.
That's silicone. I don't want silicone.
What?
I don't want silicone. That's like the lead-based lips you kiss.
In it, so that you can fold it up. So you're not supposed to boil those.
There's
It's a
always
lot more of a
something.
responsibility, right? But look at you teaching. But it's the responsibility of, that's why I love this Kids Network so much also, because they will be able to teach the kids.
Yes.
And you as well, because you're young and you're relatable. Me, I'm just kind of scary. You, they like you a lot better than they like me. I'm
That's
just
not
saying.
true. Everybody asks you, how much do you work out? What do you eat? Yada,
You're
yada.
not scary. You have a wand. Come on.
You have a wand, but it's not the kids. The kids have to teach the kids, right? It has to come from a peer group for them to even say, you know what, if they can do it. Like if these kids today, if Bree and Allie go, you know what, I tried this and I'm going to be using these reusable cups and I'm not putting plastic in the dumpsters, maybe you guys should try it too. Don't you think that's going to be a whole lot better received than if I say it to the kids?
Well, it depends on the children. If they have been already corrupt, eating McDonald's burgers and stuff, and they're bloated and everything,
But
you're going to
not
have a harder
necessarily,
time.
because it's about planting that seed. Sometimes it takes a while for someone to really come around and make the full-on connection, or put the idea to action. But the seed has been planted. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. Somebody could read this book and say, "Oh, well, this is great and all. This is cute, but I'm not going to give up my meat." But one day, you never know what's going to happen down the road, where something is just going to strike them the right way, and they're going to think, you know what? I could just as easily reach over in the grocery store and pick up this one instead of that one, and it's going to be just as delicious, and it's going to cause less harm, so why not? And it's all just about planting that first initial
Well, let me
seed.
ask you a question. There's a commercial for broccoli, right? So they're really trying the industry to get kids to eat more vegetables. Kids want to eat broccoli, so what do? They douse it with cheese sauce, right? So what have you done? You've now put all of this fat in your kids' arteries. It'd be better not eating the broccoli and cheese,
Right.
And maybe
you
having
could give
something
them
else.
vegan cheese that has no
Well,
fat.
so that's my question. How do you entice kids to eat their vegetables without dousing them with
You know
some
what's a
processed
great
cheese?
way to get kids to eat their vegetables? Have them help in the preparation. If you get kids in the kitchen with you and they're helping, and you give them a little kid knife to chop up stuff, and they're helping and they're putting it in the pan, and I'm telling you, they will freak out over a salad if they helped make it.
The problem is, I lived on the other side. I can tell you what eating Big Macs at 6 o'clock in the morning is like. Not one, try 3. 6 o'clock in the morning, I could tell you what that's like. When I was on the road working, I could tell you that. I could tell you what bad food is like. I could tell you what intensive care feels like when they tell you you ain't going home, get your will done. I can show you all of that. Or I could show you a different way of maybe getting healthy. of trying something different, of
I'm glad
thinking
he's
out of the
getting all
box.
this on
Amen.
film because
But it's the truth. You know something, ladies and gentlemen? She's talking to kids. I'm talking to parents. Okay, I'm talking to you who feeds your kids. You're the ones that I want to reach. Give them a chance. Give them a chance to get their brain clear, to have their diet done. Give them a chance. That's all I'm asking.
absolutely
Give
right.
them choices.
Give them a choice.
Have
to
a
live healthy
salad
life.
with, let them make it with all this
them make
fruit
it.
you can think of.
I do workshops too with kids about plant-based, and one of the most popular ones is like cooking simple little easy meals or snacks, and the kids get to make their own thing, and they freak out. They eat things that the parents are standing right behind them, and they're like, they won't even touch this at home if I make it. It's because they were hands-on. So get your kids in the kitchen.
How do people find your books?
So my books are available on my website, VeggieVero.com. And they're also, if you want a signed copy, VeggieVero.com. And then they're also available on Amazon. My schedule's kind of all over the place because I do a lot of the Veg Fests and I do workshops. So
Do you visit schools and read to kindergartens and stuff like that?
yeah, I actually went to a school in up near Tallahassee area, and I think the first school, definitely the first one in Florida at least, that has gone fully plant-based in their cafeteria.
Really?
It's incredible. And I know the owner of the school, and she had been wanting to do this for a while. She was a little scared because was like, are people going to pull their kids out of my school? But she just did it because it was in her heart. She really wanted, it's a private school, of course. And she's gotten great feedback. I mean, of course, people can still bring their own lunches if they don't want to eat what she's serving, but her cafeteria is fully plant-based now.
We got to get some healthy food to our kids. And there are Feed the Hungry programs for our kids in schools. And should they be packed with more nutritious food? We had that conversation at our
Oreo
last studio
cookies.
because they're packing it with things that people are donating, and they're the processed packaged food just to give these kids some food and calories. And it's not the best choice, but you're in a catch-22 for these kids. You have the choice. You have the financial means to afford what you want. Thankfully, we all do. But some families don't, and they're stuck between a rock and a rock, as you call it, of what they're going to give these kids and the education and feeding and working and grocery shopping. There has to be a better way. And I think with your books, it teaches them a better way. You know what? Vegetables, grow your own. Grow a vegetable garden. Grow an herb garden outside. You know what? And that's a whole lot cheaper. It's going to take time, patience, but can you grow your own and get it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I ended up in the hospital. My bill was $80,000. You think I can pay a couple of lunches with $80,000? I think we have to measure this pound for pound and deal for deal. I think
That's
it's
the
a
wizard.
conversation to continue.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. What is your
course.
website?
It's VeggieVero.com. And my Instagram and Facebook is also at Veggie Vero. So the word veggie and then VERO.
More to come. I can't wait to do a segment, a movie. We'll see if that girl's going to come back and do that.
If she's not, we get somebody else.
Gene, you ready to make a movie?
Gene will do it.
He says, of course.
He's ready.
All right. Stay tuned. More to come. Have a great day, everyone. Be kind to each other. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Tequila Tuesday at the Brooklyn Cafe Show. So come on out. We'll see you then.
And then don't be late in Peak Green.
Bye-bye. Pete
Well,
Green.
that's about it for today. Even though the show is over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddy S will bring you more goodwill next time. You can follow the cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.